Tottenham TV, and we're here for the match preview for the second leg out in Frankfurt. 1-1. Pretty much just 90 minutes of football now, and that's it. No away goals, so the first leg is pretty much irrelevant at this point. And we are going to need a big performance out in Frankfurt Thursday night, and I'm really nervous going into this.
I think the whole
Really
club is on
nervous.
edge.
Yeah.
I think everyone's on edge a bit. I think the dour form we've been in, especially away from home as well, the form has been horrendous. Going into a ground where they're known for their atmosphere. We were speaking to a Frankfurt fan before, and he said it's a weapon in our armory, which not a lot of Bundesliga clubs have, that in terms of that 12th man, in terms of how intense that atmosphere can get when the crowd get behind them. And that is something, this season especially, but historically, we have struggled in anyway. Those kind of intense atmospheres and crumbling under the pressure. So if we're going to get through this, we're going to have to do it the hard way. And that means going there on Thursday night and either going for on penalties or going there and winning. And either one is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I do kind of feel that was my initial feeling after the game, after the first leg, that we might be sitting here after the game ruining the missed opportunities that we didn't take. And we both said before the game we need to take a significant lead to Frankfurt. Any lead would have been positive, but 2-goal minimum we really had to take. And we were the better team on the night in the first leg. We hit the bar twice, forced the keeper into some really good saves. And the reality is we didn't take the chances that were presented to us, and that's the biggest frustration. And my initial thought after that game was, you know what, this is two kind of very equal sides in terms of quality. It could be going all the way. It really could be. And extra time, penalties, I cannot sit for a penalty shootout in this game. It's going to be way too on edge. Such a big game for us. If this goes all the way, it's just going to get more nervy and more nervy and more nervy as the game progresses. And we just need to keep it tight for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. If we can ride out that first 20 minutes, because I think Frankfurt are going to come out really fast out the traps with their fans behind us, running on a bit of adrenaline. And we all know over the past couple of months, we've just conceded big chances, if not goals, very early on in more or less every game. The Frankfurt one, we conceded a goal. Wolves on the weekend, we conceded a goal. It seems to happen. Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, Nicholas Jackson was 1-on-1 with our keeper in the first few minutes of the game. Can we just please just keep it tight in the first 10, 15 minutes and not concede an early chance? Why can't we go out there and put it on them and create a big chance for ourselves in the opening minutes? Because if we score early in this game, that kind of settles the nerves really quickly.
Well, I think the main thing is a good quieting down the crowd. I don't know if it will, but there's a possibility, and that
Probably won't.
that could be really crucial if we can somehow calm the atmosphere down and try and get that crowd to be a bit quieter and settle into the game. That could go a long way to getting through this tie, because you've seen it so many times. Once the home crowd, once the momentum goes against us, we find it so hard, don't we, to overcome that situation. We've seen it this season, especially when we went to Anfield, we saw it, or Galatasaray, we saw it. As soon as we give the home team encouragement, we can't seem to stem that tide. And that is something that obviously it's very worried about happening in this one. And if we allow that to happen in this one, then it's going to all be over. That's the truth.
Yeah, and obviously the positive thing going into this game has probably been the cleanest bill of health that we've had in a long time. Danso pictured back in training. The only person that is a confirmed injury and definitely out this game is Dragoshin. Obviously, we're recording this prior to the press conference coming out, so we don't know what state Danso is in, but he has been pictured in training on the Tuesday, so he's still got another day of training on the Wednesday and the game on the Thursday. So I expect him to be in the squad. I don't expect him to start. I expect Kuti and Van de Ven to start the game. And you're looking at how we managed the game against Frankfurt in the first leg. You saw a much more on it Tottenham side. You saw a team that actually had something to play for. When you're looking at the Premier League games, no one cares anymore. The players have checked out on the pitch. The fans have checked out in the stands. Whereas the first leg was completely different. The players were on it. The players looked like they, were up for it, and the fans responded to that in the crowd as well. So, I think you'll see a good Tottenham side on Thursday night, and I think we're gonna give as good as we get. I think it's going to be a very tight game.
Yeah, and to be fair, with Romero and Van de Ven back in the back line in Europa League, we've done quite well so far. The games against Frankfurt at home, RZ at home, 2 very good performances. Chelsea away wasn't the best performance, to be fair, but it's probably better than what we've seen in other games in the Premier League. So I think we have been a bit better with those two. So with those two starting on Thursday, that hopefully makes the defence just that little bit more solid, where you saw on against Wolves and you saw in other games we've just been leaking so many chances and goals when those two are not there, and it's been really hamstrung us. And I think we just look so much better with Romero and Van de Ven in our back line, in my opinion. So that's going to be so important. It's just going to be very interesting to see how much of a different Frankfurt we do see on Thursday to what we saw last Thursday at the Tottenham Stadium, because in the Tottenham Stadium, I know we didn't win, and they did show flashes of quality, and obviously they got a brilliant goal they scored, and there were times they were popping it around quite confidently, but they were clearly a team that could be got at, and by no means a team that are impenetrable or didn't have their flaws, and a team that struggled to contain us at times, to be honest. So if we can kind of match that level of performance, really ask as many questions as possible of them as we can, then we got a good chance. I'm looking at the team. They obviously, we're going into this game off the back of a really detrimental, in terms of morale, defeat to Wolves in what was a horrendous performance and just mistakes all over the place. They're going to this game off the back of a very comfortable 3-0 win against Heidenheim at home, like at the home stadium, which obviously breeds confidence. They were able to rest Larsson and Mario Götze, I can see, who both started on the bench, and I think. Was it Collins or Brown who started last game for them? I think it was Brown, wasn't he? I think he started on the
Collins,
wing.
no.
So I think Brown started. I think he started on the wing on Thursday. He didn't play. He didn't start. So I'm able to rest a few players, but by and large, it was their first choice. I can see the back line who started against us started this game. Bahoya and Ekitike and Sikiri. So I think they made 3 changes from the team that played. Obviously, we made 6 changes, so we made a lot more changes than they did. Ekitike, though, golden assist on the weekend, so he's going to come into this in flying form. Bahoya got a goal as well. So that's exactly the perfect fixture, isn't it? A home tie against like a relegation threatened side where you can get a comfortable win, rest a few players, and come into this game with full of confidence at home as well. Not much travelling time as well, so not great for us that they had quite an easy game of it on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. But we as well had a game against what were a relegation threatened side up until a couple of weeks ago, until they pulled clear. But we made very hard work of it. I know Wolves were a decent side, and we always seem to struggle against them. But we just got embarrassed on the weekend against the Wolves side that haven't scored more than 2 goals all season, conceding 4 mistakes. Plenty. But let's just hope that they kind of used up all those mistakes in that game, and we can play in a professional manner in this game. You're looking at performances from Cuti Romero in that game, which was shambolic. I have no doubt about it that he's going to be bang on it for this game, because not only is there something to play for, there's a trophy up for grabs, right? There's a trophy up for grabs, and whether the players are playing for the manager, playing for the club, whatever you want to say, there's personal stuff to gain here, and there's medals to be won. So they're going to want to play for themselves more than anything else.
And they're all going to want to be part of the team that lifted the trophy hoodoo at Tottenham. That's obviously a big motivation, I think, because that's been all the talk. Ever since the start of the season, that's been all the talk when in interviews and whatever. You do have players like Romero who have won trophies before. They know how to do it. They know what it's like to win trophies. And I'm sure... I mean, how many teams, apart from Romero, how many players have actually won a trophy in that team? Just Maddison won an FA Cup.
Yeah.
Romero's won a... Bentancur's won some trophies. But other than that, it's a lot of young players who haven't had that taste of winning a trophy before. What did he win?
Didn't he win the league with Lisbon?
Yeah, he might have won the league with Lisbon, yeah. So there's a lot of young players there who are looking for their first taste of victory, looking for that first taste of success. And I'm sure, as whatever has happened this season, there is an opportunity in this Europa League to win what it would be a significant trophy. What I want to say about it is the second biggest European trophy, and it would be a significant trophy to lift. It's it doesn't happen all the time that we win this kind of trophy. I know we've done it before, but we haven't done it since the 80s, and it would be a massive moment for this football club if we can get that over the line. So I'm sure they're going to be at their very best, full concentration. I'm just worried that we've seen this season sometimes the occasion get to these players. It's happened. The atmosphere can get to them. And obviously it's a young team, so I am a bit concerned that might happen tomorrow. I'd be so much more confident if we were at home tomorrow rather than away. But reality is we are away from home. We've already played that home leg, and that for me, puts Frankfurt as favourites going into that game tomorrow. But if we can get an early goal, or we can at least settle into the game without conceding a goal early and show that we're right in for a game, then all of a sudden I think we might settle into it. We might really can stamp our authority on that game. But I'm worried if we're under pressure early on and they create chances to even get a goal, and all of a sudden the team start to panic and the game can get away from us.
I do think the first goal, I say this a lot, but I do think the first goal is absolutely vital in this game. And I think if we go and score early, I feel like Frankfurt could have a tendency maybe to panic a little bit and leave even more holes at the back. And they can do that at the best of times, Frankfurt. But I feel like if we can get the early goal, there's an opportunity for us to go and get even more goals, and put ourselves in a really commanding position in this game.
Yeah, they're a team who do like to go forward, and they do leave you chances. I know they were a bit more pragmatic against us potentially on Thursday, where we penned them in a lot. They're a bit more low block, but that isn't how they play. They are by nature more, under this new manager, much more of an offensive team.
They rarely keep clean sheets. Rarely.
Yeah, they've conceded 42 goals in 29 games, which is, considering it's a smaller Bundesliga league as well, they aren't shy about giving away chances if you can create there. Obviously, it also means they do create a lot of chances, usually, especially at home. They have only lost 3 games this season at home. Very good home record. So that obviously is going to give them a lot more confidence coming into this game as well. But it's not like a team that generally shut up shop, and they don't keep many clean sheets. But as well, I think I read they've never not scored at home in any game this season. So if that carries on, that means we're going to have to score at least 2 going there, which is still going to be tough. But I think knowing that, if obviously them coming out to attack us, that's obviously something that in theory should suit us a bit more than a team playing a low block.
Yeah, I think so. And 100%. And this Frankfurt team are excited to watch. And what I was saying about us scoring the early goal, I think if we do score the early goal, I think it can turn into a bit of a basketball game. And I think it can turn very end-to-end. I do feel like the early stages of this game will be... I was saying before, I think Frankfurt will come out a million miles an hour, but I think it might be a bit of a nervy start, a bit pensive, maybe each team waiting for the other team to make the move a little bit and both teams kind of feeling their way into the game. I think that's the way it might start. And that's why I feel like, the first goal for either side is completely vital. And if we do concede first, that's when you might see the kind of atmosphere maybe overraw the occasion for the players, and the players might start to feel it.
Yeah, it's going to be so important how we start it, just that first half as well. If we even go to that first half 0-0, all of a sudden that second half we're feeling all right, we've taken it to half time, we can really have a good go at them this second half and try and win the game. And I think that's going to be so crucial, just making sure don't concede any stupid goals in the first half. It's pretty much happened for so long, especially over the last few months. It's just most games it's happened, to be honest. So I think it's so important we just have that belief in ourselves that we're not going to concede every chance we get, and we're going to be a lot more solid, a lot more compact, and we just have to prove to ourselves that we can defend a lot better than we've shown in a lot of games this season. So that's going to be super, super important. We know that we can attack. We know that given opportunities, we can create chances, and we've got the players to score goals. It's just going to be so important that we're not giving away stupid chances, soft goals like we have done so often this season, and that could go a long way. Hopefully, look, if we get through this tie, all of a sudden there could be a bit of positivity flowing through this team, and hopefully that can snowball. But this tie, if there's going to be any signs of life in this season, in this team, in this manager, it all goes down to this game and whether we can get through it or not. And obviously, if we do get through it, as much as it'll be great on the day, it won't stop there because it means we're still going to have to get through the next tie and then the final. So as much as it'll give us a bit of short-term relief, it doesn't solve anything getting through this tie, but it gives you a chance to. That's
Puts
all
you
it does.
on to the next stage, and,
Yeah.
and that's all we can hope for right now.
Got to take it one step at a time.
Exactly, and I feel like this game, as at Frankfurt, as opposed to whoever we could face in the semi-final, I got a feeling like this could be a harder tie than maybe what we're going to face in the semi-final.
Yeah, I think Frankfurt are probably better than both Lazio and Bodo, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think if we get through this tie, that gives you unbelievable confidence if you can at least get to that final, and then a final, anything can happen.
I just want to see that fire in the eyes of the players. You know, when you see that fire from Romero, that fire from maybe not too much fire from Romero, but fire from Bentancur, Sonny. You know, I want to see them completely in their zone tomorrow. And Bentancur had that in the first leg. He really did. I thought he was sensational. Udogie had that in the first leg, and you saw kind of how it affected their performance. And if we have that kind of vibe going into this game, we'll go through. I really believe that. And Sonny's well rested for this game. We need to see a top performance from him. We need to see much better from Dom Solanke. It's going to be brilliant to see Deki back in the side, and he's going to kind of add that more leadership ability and more leadership in the team. And he's really one that can galvanise this team, in my opinion. It's a massive plus having Kulusevski coming into this game, whether he starts or even from the bench. You know, it'll be a massive plus for us. So there are players that can stem this tide for us, and I genuinely believe, man for man, 1 to 11, we do have more quality than them.
Yeah.
And it's about showing that quality on the pitch and proving it on the night. That's what it comes down to.
And in terms of Frankfurt's home form, as much as it is impressive and it's good, they've only lost 3 all season. 2 of them have come in their last 4 games. So is there signs that they may be a bit more beatable at home than they have been?
Those 2 are against Bayern Munich and Leverkusen, though, isn't it?
No, Union Berlin and Leverkusen.
Bayern Munich before that.
Munich was, I think they're away from home.
Oh, right.
They're away from home.
Yeah.
I'm saying at home, yeah.
Yeah.
So there are signs that recently they've, maybe are a bit more. And one of the other wins was a 1-0 win against Stuttgart, where they were down to 10 men for most of the game. So, not saying it's not still you have to win the game. I'm just saying a home form maybe hasn't been as good as it was for a lot of the season. But you do look back to the last leg against Ajax. Swatted Ajax away like it was nothing at home, 4-1, a very easy win.
But you know what, in a game like this, though, I know it's a bit cliche to say, but it's not a derby, so maybe it's not a bit cliche, but form goes completely out the window in these kind of games. You know, it's a European night, fans are going to be bang on it, both sides are going to be fighting tooth and nail to get into the next round. It's a semi-final up for grabs, you know, this ain't no group stage, last 16 rubbish. This is the business end of the tournament now, and it's all about who wants it more on the night. I don't think you need to make too much into form. It's just about what happens on that night, 90 minutes of football, and we can analyse it till the cows come home, but it literally comes down to who wants it more on the night.
Yeah, in terms of that question, I mean, in theory, Tottenham, it should mean more to them, not only because of the trophy drought, but also just in terms of the season and how it's gone and what it means for a lot of these players and the manager. Frankfurt, currently 3rd in the Bundesliga, they're obviously fighting on a lot of fronts. So, a lot of Frankfurt, I'm not saying it's not a priority for them, but obviously they're in the Bundesliga doing very well, and I'm sure they still got a lot to fight for, even if they do go out. So in theory, this obviously should mean a lot more, but it's about showing that on the pitch. That's what it's all about.
You're talking about motivation, like being able to be motivated coming to this don't need a big manager's talk to get motivated for a game like this. Like, the team talk should basically do itself, you know what I mean? Like, in a game like this, every single player needs to be motivated in the zone, and I have no question that they will be. Because this isn't just a massive night for Tottenham Hotspur. This is a massive night for these players in their career.
Absolutely, and especially the manager as well. And one other player who maybe the focus could definitely be on is Sonny, just because he has a great record in Germany. Obviously, the last time we were in Germany a few months ago in Hoffenheim, got a brace. And usually when we've gone to Dortmund away, he's done well, got goals there in Dortmund. He just has a very good record when we play German teams.
I believe the first leg in Frankfurt was the first time he hadn't scored against German opposition for us. Is that true?
Because I remember against Frankfurt 2 years ago, he didn't score in the away game.
Obviously, it was 0-0, wasn't it?
But in the home game, he got a brace, really good brace as well. Dortmund obviously scored against. I don't think, did he ever score against Bayern? He did, actually, when we lost 7-2. He got the opening goal against Bayern. I guess who else have we played? We'd never. Oh, Leipzig. But he didn't play, did he?
No, he was injured, wasn't he?
He was injured. We lost 1-0 and we lost like 3-0 away, but I don't think he played either leg. So whenever he's played, I guess, against his opposition, he has scored. But I guess Leipzig's the only one I can think of where he hasn't scored against.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head anyway, since he's come here.
You know who I think could actually surprise us in this game? That's Matisse Tell. I think Matisse Tell could actually provide quite a bit of a difference off the bench for us in this game. He knows the league very well in terms of the Bundesliga. He's, last couple of years he's been playing against these teams, maybe not week in, week out, but I don't know if he's ever scored against Frankfurt in his career or anything like that. But I feel like, as well, with Frankfurt trying to sign him in January, there's just that bit of an element, and with him knowing the country very well and in that league very well, I just feel like something could happen with Matisse Tell coming on, being a bit of a game changer or a game winner for us. He
has not got any goals. Again, he's been unbeaten, but obviously it's no surprise. But he's played 5 games in Frankfurt, no goals or assists, 2 wins and 3 draws. So not the most amazing record. Has picked up 1 yellow card against them. So take that as you will. But yeah, I agree. I think the fact that he knows the Bundesliga, he's probably played away in this stadium before. He knows what it's like. I'm sure it's a rousing reception or atmosphere when Bayern come to town. So I'm sure he's used to it, that kind of atmosphere. So I agree. I think he could maybe be our ace up our sleeve kind of. I don't think he'll start, but I think he could be the ace in the pack here, if off the bench potentially.
And whatever you want to say about him, yeah, he hasn't had a great start to life at Tottenham, but he is starting to find the back of the net. 2 goals in his last 2 Premier League games. Got a goal in the FA Cup for us as well in his debut against Aston Villa. So, I mean, he's definitely scoring more regularly than Dom Solanke at the moment.
It's true. 2 and 2, as you say. So maybe that can give him the confidence to really do something special in this game. It's going to be interesting to see how someone like Bergvall as well, who previously had struggled in atmospheres like against Galatasaray, but more recently has started to play a lot better in these games.
Yeah, but that Galatasaray game is distant memory for Lucas Bergvall, because ever since then, no occasion has got to him. No occasion he's been overawed by. And I feel like as the season has progressed and he's stepping up. I know he made that mistake in the last game against Wolves, but still, the performance was still very good, and he had his hand in 2 of the goals that we did score. So I'm not worried about Lucas Bergvall at all, to be honest.
No, I'm not worried about him. It's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on. I'm very excited to see him
fly through this game, Lucas Bergvall.
Up against his compatriot Larson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously the danger man, Eki Teki, in great, obviously done, 3 goals in his last 2, because he got scored against Heidenheim and against us. So he's obviously going to come into this really in good form and confident. But it's all going to be about containing. Because I do think, like, in terms of goal threats, he's clearly, if you even look at terms of like their goal scored this season, he's just like way out in front of anyone. For Tottenham, it's a bit different.
I mean, with Marmoush.
Obviously with Marmoush, but he's not there.
Yeah.
For Tottenham, it's a bit different. Everyone's kind of very close together. Like, everyone has quite a similar amount. But for them, it's like you got Ekiteke on 16, and then I think the next one down is like Larson on 5. So like if you can stop him, you go a long way to like stopping their main goal threats.
That's what it's going to be, just like Cuti Romero, just have your eye on him all the time. Don't take your eye off him, and he's going to be that one aggressively stepping out and just being really aggressive up against him.
100%. I think he can go a long way if you can stop that guy, because you saw in the first leg as well, gave him half a chance and he buried it. Unbelievable finish, and he didn't really get. He did get another one, but he didn't score it. But should have scored it. But if we can just stop him getting good quality chances, got a good chance, I think.
Apart from those 2 moments in the game, though, I think we handled him very well in the first leg. So, but, out in Frankfurt will be a different kettle of fish. So let's just hope we're able to nullify them as well as we did in the first leg, albeit they did have a couple of chances, but I think we nullified them probably as well as we could have done. So it was a good job in the first leg. Where it hurt us was the other end of the pitch. The front 3 let us down that game, and we need the front 3 to take their chances in this game. So how do you see this one going?
I think
you can't predict anything but Spurs going through with you going out to Frankfurt.
I've got a feeling it's going to be like 2-2 or something. Yeah. Like a quite high scoring game. Although it could be nerves, so maybe we'll go the opposite way. But I think I'm going to go 2-2. Going to go at extra time. I think if it goes to extra time, does that benefit us or them? In terms of just purely extra time, forget penalties. Like, who would be happier playing within extra time? In terms of like the players you got coming off the bench and stuff.
I I don't know what their fitness levels are like. I don't watch Frankfurt week in, week out, so it's hard to say.
But in terms of the depth
in terms of depth and personnel, you'd probably say Spurs. And also, like, as the game wears on, like, the kind of atmosphere will take less of effect on the players as they get more used to it. So maybe Spurs. But I mean, it's very minimal.
I'm going to go 2-2 full time.
And we made more changes.
And I'm going to say 3-2 to Spurs in extra time.
Ooh, who's going to get that third goal? Matisse.
Tell's going to come on.
Matisse.
Tell's going to do it.
I'm going to go for 1-1, and I think it's going to go all the way to penalties. Hell, who knows who's going to win that penalty shootout? I think penalties definitely favours them.
Probably with the home atmosphere.
Yeah.
Has Vicario ever saved a penalty for us? He's faced enough, probably.
Remember.
Don't think so, yeah. It'd be interesting to see what keeper they play on as well, because I don't know if Trapp's back or not. But
did Trapp play on the weekend? I don't think he did. Apparently, this other keeper had another worldie on the weekend.
I think, did he save a penalty? Anyway, but he had a brilliant game against us, so I don't think they're going to have any problems putting him in.
Yeah, I mean, he's played a number of games in a row now for Frankfurt. He looks like a really good keeper, to be fair. But yeah, I'm going to go for 1-1. I think it's going to go all the way to penalties. And obviously, I'm going to side with Tottenham. Tottenham going to win on penalties.
Come on.
Can you imagine Tottenham winning on penalties out in Frankfurt?
Come on, boys.
But Sim is going to be out in Frankfurt getting you all the footage from out in Germany in this big night. I'm going to be doing a watch-along, but a bit of a different watch-along for you guys on Thursday night. I am going to be at Grosvenor Casino in Luton with the great Martin Yole and the great Brian Daigle. So me and Brian are going to be doing the watch-along from there, and you might even have a surprise from Martin Yole at some point during the watch-along. So come and join me there. We are not doing a classic fan show after the game. We will be interviewing fans at the casino, but might do a fan show after that. But you have to wait and see. I'm not sure if we're going to do it or not, but we'll let you know either way. But yeah, if you want to come to the event with Martin Yole, the stuff is all over our socials. I'll put the link in the description below of this video as well. You're welcome to come. Tickets are free, and it's going to be a great night. If Spurs win. If Spurs win. But it'll be a great night anyway. Just watch the game with Martin Yole. Like, what more can you want?
Imagine being commiserated with a Martin Yole hug after a loss. No better way.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. Come and join me there. It's going to be a great night. Let's hope it ends great. But that is it from us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Put your score predictions in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.